Well, hello everyone. I'm sorry I can't be there tonight to celebrate Bill Shirkey and Brenda with your retirement from Main Street America. Unfortunately, you chose the one night during the year that I probably can't be there. We've got what we call our Circle of Excellence celebration and the beginning of our annual board meeting. And unfortunately, I can't be there. But I did want to say a couple words. I want to wish Bill and Brenda the very best in your retirement, and thanks for everything you've done to help our company be so successful. A lot of you probably don't realize, but Bill Shirkey is really the guy that's responsible for our headquarters being in Jacksonville, Florida. We met Bill probably back in 1995 when we were doing a merger with a company called Mutual Insurance in Philadelphia. And part of Mutual Insurance was Old Dominion. And we sent a couple of folks down to Jacksonville to kind of check out what is this Old Dominion franchise. And at the time, Old Dominion had a lot of different pieces. There was an ocean marine book, there was a non-standard auto book in Louisiana, there was a non-standard auto book in Texas. I think there's some property in the Carolinas. But our people came back and said, you know, there's a core Main Street BOP book of business that's led by this guy named Bill Shirkey, and all of our agents love the guy and they love the company. They just don't have really the capital to be able to expand the business. And that really was the genesis. When we did the deal, we set up our Southeast branch office in Florida, in Jacksonville. And I was running field operations at the time, so I had the opportunity to come down and meet with Bill and all the great employees of Old Dominion. And you know, it just struck me, what a great place to live, what a great place to raise a family. Wouldn't it be nice to live in Jacksonville someday? Well, around 2000 or so, when the board of directors and the senior management team started looking at perhaps we should move our headquarters to a different location to be in a better position to attract professionals and executive level talent, Jacksonville was on the list because of the merger with Old Dominion. So Bill and Brenda, if it wasn't for getting a chance to meet you two, we never would have lived in Jacksonville. So thanks for that. Now, all that kind of serious stuff. A couple of quick stories for Bill, and I know, Bill, you're probably getting a little anxious about now because we've had a lot of fun together, and I can't really tell all the stories, but there's been a couple of fun times. I'm just going to kind of mention, kind of where we were, and then maybe you can fill in later, because I think some of the folks that we enjoyed ourselves with are probably there in the room with you. But there was a couple of nautical sort of themes that we had over the year. There was a great trip to St. Thomas with some of our customers, and perhaps at some point during the evening, maybe you and Ted Ostrander would like to fill in the crowd on what some of the fun antics were down there. And then there were some business trips to southern Florida that we did early on, and a couple times we went on a boat down in the Fort Lauderdale area with Roger Bond. I think we went by the Playboy Mansion a few times, things like that. So I think you guys get the idea. Maybe Bill, you could fill them in on some of the details. I think everybody also knows that Bill is a diehard Jaguars fan, and I'm sorry, Bill, they stink. They still stink. But you've never wavered in your faith in the Jaguars, and a lot of you probably don't realize Bill has only missed one game in all the years that the Jaguars have played here in Jacksonville. And the one game he missed was my fault. Because early on in the relationship with Old Dominion, we used to do these marketing and underwriting conferences, and we would do them over the weekends so we minimize disruption to our independent agency customers. But unfortunately, we chose one in the fall in Sanibel Island, and Bill was trying, do I have to go to this conference, and I'm going to miss the Jaguar game. And at the time, I didn't realize how much it meant to Bill. But now for almost 20 years, he continually reminds me that I was the reason he missed that one game. Otherwise, he would have had a winning streak of all those Jaguar games. But probably the best story with Bill, early on, again, a lot of you may not remember, the Jaguars didn't always stink. early on in the franchise's history, they actually went to the AFC Championship game 2 times, in 1996 and 1999. And in 1996, it just so happened they were playing the New England Patriots in Foxborough, and I asked Bill to come up and come to the game and join me, one of our other agency customers from New England that's a big Patriots fan, and also my son, who at the time was 8 years old. But I told Bill the stipulation is do not come, decked out in Jaguars gear. Please don't do that. Foxborough at that time was a very, very rough venue, and they don't take kindly to people that are wearing other teams' colors. Well, Bill didn't listen. He came to the game completely attired from head to toe in Jaguars gear. He also won my son over, my 8-year-old son, because he went to the beach before he came up and collected a bunch of shark's teeth. So he gave that to my son TJ. So of course now they're best buddies. So we go to the game, and I kind of was counseling my son, be careful, Mr. Shirkey's dressed in Jaguars gear from head to toe, and he's not going to have an easy time at this game. So we get into the stadium. TJ and I sit down, and I said, under no circumstances, when Mr. Shirkey had to go to the bathroom, I said, at no point when he's coming back up to the seats are you to acknowledge him. Well, of course, Bill comes back, carrying a beer, coming back from the bathroom, decked out in Jaguars gear, and my son TJ starts yelling out, Mr. Shirkey, up here. And about that time was when the fans saw him. They started booing, they started throwing things at him, and it went downhill after that. But anyway, we had a great time, and fortunately for Bill and for my son and myself, the Patriots actually did win that game, because I think if the Jaguars won, we never would have gotten out of there. In fact, when the game was over, we kind of slithered out and sort of ran to our cars and got out of there. So Bill, unfortunately, was depressed the whole way back to, we were staying back up in Keene. In fact, we went out for something to eat afterwards, and Bill said, I'm too depressed, just take me to my hotel room. So he didn't join the celebration. But anyway, great story. I've got many others, but I know we don't have that much time here. I'm sorry I can't be there. I do want to once again wish Bill, you and Brenda the very best in your retirement. Please don't be strangers. Would love to see you from time to time. But again, all the best, and enjoy tonight. And Bill, make sure you tell everybody those stories about Ted Ostrander and Roger Bond.